A beautiful lineup of sideline sports and everything that we have to offer, with more coming soon. Good evening. I am Denzel Snipes, aka the head representative of the BasketBros World Order, at least for tonight, that is. And this is BasketBros. We've got a jam-packed show for you. It's another Sunday evening. So glad that you can start your Sunday evening off with us. And let's bring the crew in one by one. First and foremost, he's from Connecticut, but residing in the other sea town, Charlotte, North Cackalack. He's the Hornets Nest representative, DJ Willie V. Come on in.
What's up, everybody? How's everyone's weekend going? How are you doing, Jay?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So, before the show, you said you got a Europe trip coming up. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, so guys, at the end of the month, but will be probably missing 2 to 3 weeks of the show. Unfortunately, I have plans in Europe. My older brother's getting married. He has it's not a real wedding. The real wedding's next April in the U.S. This is a ceremony. In Europe, he's marrying a girl from Germany, and then we're going on to Italy. So I may miss 3 weeks of the show, but I know these guys can cover the show better than anybody. And who knows? They may replace me. Probably not. Hopefully not.
Nah. You mean like you replaced JJ on the gauntlet?
Exactly.
Because that would be karma.
That would be karma. But I may ask someone to fill in for my shoes. I'll talk to the guys about it.
It's all good, man. I didn't mean to put your business out like that.
Nope, I'm happy you did because I wanted to remind everyone.
But aside from that, I haven't been stationed in Europe. It's fun. I don't know if you've ever been before, but it's gonna be a blast.
Dude, I lived there. I love Europe.
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. But also, let's go ahead and bring in. He is 1/3 of the pundit's pundit, along with myself and Jen Matthews Lewis. And he's your favorite pundit's pundit. He's your mom's favorite pundit. He's your dog's favorite pundit. Jacob Christner, come on in.
You forgot one more thing. He's Larry Bird's favorite pundit.
Especially your mom's favorite pundit, especially when she's hot. But I mean,
I have one question. Are you Larry Bird's?
Yeah, I don't know if he knows me. I don't know if he knows me. But just to let you know, Will, don't worry about it. We'll get Scoop Jackson to replace you for 3 weeks. It won't be a big deal.
Scoop Jackson, oh boy. Great.
Well, and of course,
it's not Skip Bayless.
I know, right? And of course, you can find us via Sideline Sports on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, as shown down below. So let's go ahead and kick the party off. And I know Jacob Christner has been anxiously waiting on this. And I
haven't.
Real quick? Just ignore the guy in the comments. Just ignore him. I know him from somewhere else.
Oh, okay. I just saw comments, whatever. But
would you pay him to be here?
No.
So our BasketBros legend that we are covering is Larry Legend, Larry
cheating bastards. You cheating.
Now that's not to be confused with the other bird, Sue Bird, who just had her final home game in front of a franchise record crowd of 18,000. So Larry Bird was the first round pick in 1978. He was picked number 6 overall. He went to Indiana State. He played small forward and power forward. As a player, he's a 3-time NBA champion, a 2-time NBA Finals Most Valuable Player, a 3-time Most Valuable Player, 3 consecutive years. He's also a 12-time NBA All-Star, an NBA All-Star Game Most Valuable Player, a 9-time All-NBA First Team, an All-NBA Second Team 1 time, 3-time NBA All-Defensive Second Team. He won Rookie of the Year in 1980. He was an NBA All-Rookie Team in 1980. 3-time NBA three-point contest champion. That is where they get it from, right there. He won 86, 87, and 88. And he's a 2-time member of the 50-40-90 Club, 87 and 88. He won Associated Press Athlete of the Year in 1986. He's an NBA Lifetime Achievement Award winner in 2019. Of course, he's on 2 NBA anniversary teams, 50th and 75th. Boston Celtics number 33 retired. In college, he was National College Player of the Year in 1979, two-time consensus first-team All-American, third-team All-American in ABC and UPI, two-time Mountain Valley Conference Player of the Year, number 33 retired by the Indiana State Sycamores. As a coach, he won Coach of the Year in 1998. He's one of the few to actually have success as a head coach, being a former player. And he's also an NBA All-Star Game head coach in 1998. As an executive, he won Executive of the Year in 2012. Of course, now his career statistics, he averaged about 24 points per game, about 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Of course, he's in the College Basketball Hall of Fame and the Basketball Hall of Fame as a player. Larry Legend, just like I said. And he's also regarded as one of the original point forwards, one of the original guys to play small forward or power forward, the forward position, and to hit the ball, bring the ball up the court, and also run the offense. So with that being said, I know he's your absolute favorite. So, Jacob, your thoughts on Larry Bird?
Cheating bastards! You wanted to get the number up. You found a way. But
hey, you could thank me.
yeah. When you're a kid like I was growing up, and everybody, I was started in '84 with Bird. I was 6 years old. That was the same year, '84. Then '84, '85 started with Jordan. You know what I mean? Everybody in our town was the Jordan guy. The Jordan guy. It's like Bird wasn't cool in that day to them. People looking now, the DJs and the YouTube people watching the Larry Bird highlights now, that wasn't a regular on that time. Michael was the cool one, you know what I mean? But by the way, you also forgot one more statistic out of all those statistics. He averaged 50, 40, 90 from 84 to 88, the average.
Yes.
So
yes, he did.
He did. So when you're someone like me who was really skinny, tall and lanky and skinny growing up, you know, and everything, I don't have an athletic bone in my body in those times. And then you're looking at Bird, who's by the time I'm really into him, he is hurt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Really hurt, and he has about a 3-inch vertical, but he's dominating everybody. He is coming up. He's putting up 40-point nights, 40 and 10 every on those nights. And has like a 3-inch vertical.
Nice.
And he's not moving past the perimeter very much whatsoever unless he's off the ball. So it's one of those things where you're watching. See, it was like since I wasn't athletic, it was kind of the injured years of Bird were my years, even though I saw 3 of the years without being injured. The injured years were really it because he just wasn't moving at all, and yet he's dominating everybody. Just dominating the thing. And yes, he was one of the greatest players ever. He's one of the most intelligent players ever. But the thing about it, he and MJ have one thing in common. They had such a unique motivation. They had such a unique motivation. Like Bird, I mean, after McHale got the 56 points, 9 days later, Bird gets 60. After he told McHale you should have gone for 60, he decides I'm just going to go for 60 because I want to.
Because he can.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like he only did 60 one time, and that was it. And he could have. He could have done it probably 10 more times.
Right.
But the thing was, it was the thing about it was he just did everything on the court. And,
he did.
And it's like, and you have to have watched, and Will, you're young, but you really just have to have understood. He just did. And you were around, Will. I mean, excuse me, Jay, you were around a bit with it. He just did everything there. You know what I mean? On that board.
He did. I mean, me personally, before you continue, I feel like he's a bit underrated as a distributor. However, he's the first scoring option. But then again, you say the same about LeBron because he's the first scoring option, but he's a facilitator, you know. So LeBron is more known as a facilitator than Bird was. I feel Bird's underrated as a facilitator.
And you know what's crazy is Jacob said it before, and I 100% agree. Even more than 100% agree. Like a billion. That Bird was the original point forward. There would be no LeBron doing this. There would be no KD doing this. This guy was the original point forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jacob's 100% about that.
Well, that was Jay that said that, but it's true. And
you've said it before too.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And you got to realize also he also played with his left hand as well as his right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he dribbled up the court with his left hand. He did a lot of stuff with his left hand, did the tap. He had about 7 different ways of passing a ball. And you're talking about a facilitator.
And he wasn't even a point guard.
Yeah. He had 7 different ways to pass a ball, and he could do those tip passes, pass off the ground. It's the thing is, there will be another. Like they said, there would be another Michael Jordan. There would be another LeBron one day. I mean, we have these athletes now. There's never going to be another Bird because no one is ever going to get away with having about a 6.040. It's like. Not being able to move at all, have no jumping ability, and dominate. No one can get away with that in this NBA now. And
they can't.
And Bird now in this era would have had the back surgery allowed him to have even better athleticism. He wouldn't be this way now because he'd have the back surgery early.
Yeah. I think that it's actually crazy. And I know we did a BasketBros What If some episodes ago on the Magic Bird rivalry and the social media were around. I find it crazy that the two had this one-on-one rivalry despite Bird being the first scoring option on the squad and Magic being the third on his.
Yeah. It's interesting.
There was the difference. You can't put Bird in Kareem. You cannot put Bird in Kareem because the personality, it's just whatever the personality is. You can't put Bird in Worthy, but because Worthy really isn't the first thing. But Bird and Magic, it is such a unique contrast. You've got the working man versus Hollywood.
Yes.
You've got the guy that doesn't, not a whole heck of a lot of athleticism and a lot of things versus Showtime.
And that's another reason why I revere these guys is like I do, is because at the time period it was a center's league. So Bird's already coming in, with an underdog, because most teams like the focal point of the offense is the center. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with Magic.
Yep. Absolutely. And the one thing about Bird that I still remember big time is the fact that he was probably the rare star in sports it could be his own bodyguard.
Yeah.
The man, he was nasty and he could fight. And it's like, and there are not, there's most of the stars always, Wayne Gretzky had Dave Semenko and, all of them. He had the thing. You have Michael Jordan had Charles Oakley. It's like, you have these, we're just saying the stars, and it's like they have their own bodyguards. Bird was his own bodyguard. That was the most unique, rare thing, which that doesn't happen anymore.
Right. And Bird just embodied that whole, Boston, like the rugged kind of blue collar town, you know what I mean? And just much like with Detroit, and I'm sure, Don would elaborate on this too.
Yeah.
Like Bird, despite not being from Boston, he was Boston. It doesn't make sense.
And he wasn't just strong; he was country strong.
Yes, he was.
Well, you look at him back in the time. People look at the lack of muscle tone because everything's muscle tone now. But he was a brick. It's like when you watch him get knocked over, this isn't knocked over. He didn't flop. If he went over, he got nailed.
Yes.
He got absolutely nailed if he went over and if he went down. And it's like that. He wasn't a chicken. It wasn't a spring chicken. He wasn't flopping. It's like he sometimes didn't even go down when you hit him.
Sometimes he didn't.
No. Well, the biggest thing is, I think the biggest thing though that I could say is he changed my thought process of basketball. I've still watched basketball. I still watch everything, but it's going to be this way forever, even after he's passed away. You know what I'm saying? It's because, maybe I should, like I was talking about one night, like on the Pundit, I should not have such a on James Harden, but it's because of Bird. It is because it's like. Because Harden has such numbers and he has such talents, but it's because of Bird. It's like you talk about somebody who gave it absolutely all. You are talking. He won 8 straight to game 7s. 8 straight game 7s. He won 8 straight of those things, and it's like you're 8 straight, and then he was 11-3 and 11-3 in total. Deciding games. You are talking somebody who was cash, and I'm like, so yeah, I do get a little bit irritated, and when I see a Harden, when I see it, everything like that, when they just don't, when they literally let a rebound go by them at the end, like that last year's game. You know, it's like I just, it's like, yes, that's what gets me mad, is because that's what I grew up on. I grew up with the ultimate fighter.
Yeah. So I'll go real quick. Bird is the only person in NBA history to win Rookie of the Year, MVP, Finals MVP, All-Star MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year.
He won every award. Is the
That'll never happen. That'll never happen again.
No,
that'll never.
No,
because
not.
even if LeBron wins Executive of the Year, he's not going to be a coach.
No, look, no. And the thing, and then before we go to our next topic, or if Jay, you have comments, I remember watching the highlights of old 3-point contest when he won in a warm-up jacket.
Yeah,
he didn't even take the warm-up jacket off.
Twice.
Exactly. That's where Bird, because I know Jacob said one time, Bird only really shot 1 or 2 threes a game, like if that.
Yeah.
People get the 3-point aspect from the 3-point contest.
Yeah. My biggest thing is it is such a different game now, but I'm not going to put it on the different game because even Bird likes the players now, so I'm not even going against that. It's just I want fighters like that, that want to win hard. You can still get it. I hope Luka becomes that way. I hope
he gets chippy too.
And guess what? It's like, here's the thing: LeBron showed it in 16, the 3-1 down. 3-1 down. That was the killer. I've been waiting for him.
I'm calling it right now. I think Luka in a year will definitely toughen up and say, "Hey, listen, he got those texts this year. Everyone thinks, oh, he's just a 3-point shooter. No, the guy gets mad. When he gets mad, he gets in your face about it.
Yeah, I don't think he's that dog, though. I don't think he's that.
No, but he needs to. I want him to embrace that dog. If you ask me off screen, I am like one of the biggest Luka fanatics ever.
Well, guess what? Yeah, that's not that. But I'm just saying, though, that kind of dog comes from losing your dad to suicide, having to do all the work yourself, get your own money by yourself, washing cars, getting all that stuff. I mean, it comes from doing your mom's driveway by yourself and breaking your back. I mean, that's a different type of dog.
Yeah,
it just is. It's going to happen again.
Should we go to our next topic, Jay?
Yep.
What's our bird counter at, by the way?
Oh, we're at
1 billion. Put 1 billion. Put 1 billion.
Infinity.
No, I made it fair. We're tied at 1, but I'm sure that's going to change. I actually did have one question real quick before we transition, and I mean, you can make your answer short. I'll start with you, Will. Who do you think has the better basketball IQ? Basketball IQ, LeBron or Bird?
Oh, man, that's tough. I'd say Bird.
Bird? Okay. All right. What about you,
Bird? Because he learned from an amazing coach like Red Auerbach.
Yep.
The biggest, I'm going to say Bird for one reason. It's not what you think. It's because he became a coach and he became a coach and a natural coach and figured it right away to be a manager instead of just trying to coach and do all the X's and O's, which a lot of the former players try doing it all.
Right.
And he figured that right away. And it's like, but the biggest thing about it is the fact that it's such a different era. It's like we're also have to figure out would Bird, with that back surgeries and the aspect of something like that now, how athletic would he be in this time? And it's got a question those two would be a rivalry.
I've got a question for you both real fast. You could say yes or no, and if it's no, tell me who. Jay, I'll start with you. Is Bird the best player turned coach in any sport history? Any sports?
I don't know if I should count Bill Russell because he did it at the same time, so I'm not going to because he did it at once. Player turned coach, I will probably say, oh boy. I mean,
what about you, Jacob?
For now, I'm going to say yes. For now, I'm going to say yes.
I'm definitely going to have to say Alan Bristow. No.
Alan Bristow.
No. Yeah, there's no question. I mean, Ted Williams. They talk about Ted Williams and taking the Generals in 1970, 71. They do all the Washington Senators, and it was just a miserable manager. How do you tell a guy who has like a 2010 vision and to have him explain things to players that are more human? He just wasn't a good manager. So, and it's like that. Really, there's not a whole lot of other players that could be able to switch like that were very. I mean, Magic Johnson tried to coach and forget it.
Yeah. Coming in just a tad late here, but hey, better late than never. We got Dom DeRubeis in the house, the fourth basket brother, wherever he may be.
DeRubeis.
I think he's invisible right now.
Yeah.
I was going to get his thoughts on Larry, but we'll just wait till he gets back. So we'll just transition to the next topic. We're already on 20 minutes on Larry. I'm sure we can go another 40 minutes. But we're going to switch it up here and go with best and worst NBA mascots. So I really didn't have a worst one per se. We all know mascots. They're responsible for bringing morale and being it's said that they're essentially the first hype men. But I don't have a worse one per se. I think that they all do their job. It's just a matter of who's the best. I'm going to have to be biased here and say that the best ones were were Clutch the Bear and Turbo the Stuntman for the Houston Rockets. So Turbo, he was dressed in a superhero costume with the shades. He would run and he would jump off the trampoline and do the NBA Jam slam ball style dunks. And then you had Clutch the Bear, who was an anthropomorphic bear in the Rockets uniform.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck? Clutch the Bear.
Yeah.
He's a classic. I like Clutch.
But those are mine. Will, who's your pick?
So I got two favorites. Benny the Bull. Benny the Bull is classic.
Yeah.
I love Benny the Bull. He's classic. He's iconic. My favorite one, and it's a home bias, is Hugo the Hornet. The dude wears Jordans. The boy wears Concord Jordans. Like, how can you not love this? Jordan owns the team. I know he's a terrible owner, but the mascot's wearing J's. That's awesome. My two least favorites, actually I had least favorites, were Pierre the Pelican. There was a version before the new one they had recently. There was one, I will probably send it to you guys. Like, the face was like this. It was like really scary. And I remember they had to change it because it literally scared the crap out of kids. It was nightmare fuel. Trust me, I've seen pictures of it. And I'm like, this would scare my kids. And then I'm not a huge fan of the Clippers mascot, Chuck. I think his name is like Chuck the Condor or whatever. It's like a bird with like a helmet on. It's stupid.
Like, I didn't even know the Clippers had a mascot.
Like, I know it's like a Clipper plane, but like, dude, that mascot just looks stupid.
Dom, who do you got? NBA best and worst mascots.
Best, and I thought he had a name, and I think he does. Best is the Suns gorilla. Does he have a name?
Oh, it is. He does.
I think it's just gorilla.
No, yeah, he is gorilla.
And unless I'm mistaken, he was the first one I remember that used to do the crazy trampoline dunks, and that goes all the way back to the early 90s, like in Barkley's heyday for the Suns. Mm-hmm. I also, in the same vein, I believe his name is Crunch, the Timberwolves mascot. Although I don't think he's a Timberwolf, though. I don't think.
No, he's supposed to be.
Quick sidebar, as I recall, in the past when we talked about NBA Jam, I had the cheat code book for all the unlocked characters, and you could
mascots.
You could unlock like a dozen different mascots.
Benny the Bull was on there. Hugo the Hornet was on there.
Crunch was on there.
Was on there. Who else?
Crunch, the T-Wolves mascot.
Well,
gorilla for sure.
Least favorite mascots, Dom? Do you have any?
There's only one, and it's Far Away because he's just creepy. And he looks stupid with that rainbow mane. It's Hooper. It's the Pistons mascot. He's just awful.
Oh, no. Hooper is Pride Month for NBA.
And it's funny because a lot of people, because we're bringing back the teal uniforms, and people not only do a lot of people not like the teal, which is crazy. I always like those. Why they ever got called terrible teals is beyond me. The terrible ones were those burgundy ones. But then people are like, what's with the horse? Get rid of the horse. What does that have to do with Pistons? I'm like, I don't know. Horse
Horsepower.
Like he's the piston or the horse himself has 2 tailpipes with fire spitting out of them coming
And
right
it's
off
chrome,
of him.
yeah. I mean, when I got the notification on Beast Report that they were bringing the Teals back, I was like, okay, yeah, that'll be something. Actually, every comment I saw, they were happy that they were coming back, even non-Piston fans.
Most people were. Supposedly, the rumor was, because my cousin used to work for the Pistons, apparently they were never coming back as long as Gores was still the owner because he hates them.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate his multiple substance abuse problems, but that's here nor there.
Jacob, who do you got? NBA best and worst mascot.
When you brought up the Clippers mascot, I thought you were talking about Donald Sterling. But but here's the thing: the best one. It's a tie to me between Benny the Bull and Hugo. I mean,
Hugo's classic.
I mean, of course, they are classics. There's no question. The worst one to me, I'm sorry, Gee Whiz from the Wizards. It looks like if Gonzo went on meth.
I'm seeing that right now. I'm like, what is that? I was wrong. Crunch is a wolf. Keep going.
It is one of those. It just feels like they went to Sesame Street and stole a Gonzo thing and decided to put a Wizards jersey on it and zero imagination.
One sec. Dom, look up the original Pierre the Pelican mascot. I want you to show it on the screen.
I don't know if this is the original one.
It has like the mouth wide open, like super wide open.
That one actually looks better than the new. The new one's just creepy with the green.
It's the original. Show the picture of the original. The mouth's like wide open.
I don't think you're going to be able to see that from here.
No, it's not that one. It's not.
That's I mean, there's that one, and then this green one.
The green one.
I mean,
show them the green one.
The fact that this is why you don't let the fans pick the mascot name. As soon as a team went back to New Orleans, the league should have just been like, "Sorry, Jazz, you're now the polygamists." New Orleans is now the Jazz again.
Show them the green one. The green one's really bad.
Hang on, I don't see where it went.
The Utah polygamists.
It is worth noting that and I am on WeGrindEnterprises.com that the most missed mascot among fans is Sasquatch the Supersonic.
Yes.
Of course.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yep.
Well, because
I can't find that stupid green pelican. Oh, here he is.
I mean, you kind of forget. I mean, I know every team has a mascot, but you
look
never
how creepy that is. Do you guys see that?
He looks like a rooster
with green, and I don't get it. The other one was better.
I was talking about.
And the thing is, I love pelicans. Like I'm the weird guy in his early 40s that collects pelican figurines.
Well,
really?
When you think Sasquatch the Sonic, now these days I think of Sasquatch, I think of George Morrison.
I mean, there's the anthropomorphic like mascot, and then there's like it's kind of like with University of Texas, you got Hookem and you got Bevo. Bevo's the actual steer, and then Hookem is the anthropomorphic steer. So George Morrison would be like the real Sasquatch. Bevo. And then Sasquatch would be the anthropomorphic one. So yeah, that's a fair comparison.
Oh yes, how could I forget? Yeah, he was great. I forgot all about him.
Who?
Sasquatch.
Yes.
The Sonic's been around for a long time.
Sasquatch, yeah.
Speaking of Sonics, that was a hell of a what if we did last week about Magic. I literally sat there and thought about that for quite a while longer.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great one. But before we move on to our next topic, and I think Jacob. Okay, then I think you might have had internet troubles, but he's back. But we're at the halfway point of the show, so we are sponsored by Score No Score app. Dom, let us know about Score No Score.
Score No Score, gambling for dummies. Right now, we're in the dog days of summer, so all you can bet on is baseball, but now is your chance to bet on baseball and win money, even if you don't know anything. As I always say, you can go in, I really got to check this out, because I always say funny stuff and make hyperbole, but I bet you really can go in and bet on how many innings Jacob deGrom lasts, how much run support he doesn't get. You can go in and bet on how many times Javi Baez will strike out swinging in a game. But yeah, great app, easy way to win some money. They'll match your contribution. You can get in for a small amount. They will match it, and unless you win a whole bunch of money, or unless you're just super overly honest, Abe, it's tax-free up to about $20,000. So go check it out. Score No Score, Google Play, Apple App Store. Yeah.
Yep, definitely check that out. Whenever you do come on, a Score No Score app, they give you, I think it's like 400 coins for free. And then, as I explained, was it last night? Yes, last night on the Gauntlet. If you invest into it, you really like it. Of course, you got to pay for more coins yourself. But again, it's great. As of right now, they have football and baseball. I'm sure they'll add more sports soon. But yes, most definitely in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, download Score No Score app. And this brings us to our first BasketBros What If. What if Doug Collins remained the Bulls head coach? How many rings does Jordan win? So we all know that at one point in time, they had the X&A with Doug Collins, and Phil Jackson was promoted from assistant coach to head coach. It was at that time period they brought in Scottie Pippen, and then Krause just built the team from there. However, it's real funny to kind of get in that time machine and think, even though you did have Pippen, on his way, it's just a matter of who was going to pick him up. You still had Jordan. But if Doug Collins remains the case, he's not, okay, he's no Phil, I get it, okay? But, I mean, we kind of sort of agreed he got the short end of the stick, maybe? So, I'll start off with Will. If Doug Collins remained the Bulls head coach, how many rings does Jordan win?
So if he doesn't have Rodman or Scotty at all, I say 1 or 2. If he does have them, I say max 3.
Okay. All right. Dom, what about you? How many rings do you think they win if Doug Collins remained the Bulls head coach?
I thought about this a lot. And, I had my answer all laid out in my head, but I just changed my mind in the last 30 seconds. And I'm going to say 0. Because, and here's why.
What was your old answer?
I would have said maybe 1 or 2, but here's why I say 0. And I know we're playing the what if game, but my guess is if he remains, Michael forces a trade. And a lot of people that don't know, old school hoops like we do, they forget that this is one of the first instances, at least in the beginning of what I call my era. That was the first time I remember a star player saying, "I want this coach out." I think, I'm going with 0 because I don't think they get one. I don't think they get one with Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if Collins stays, Mike forces a trade. And Doug Collins is not a bad coach, but he was not the right guy for that team, for Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Doug Collins later came and coached the Pistons, and he took us, from I can't say the word I want to, from S house to penthouse. Well, on our way up to the penthouse, we were in the basement and we were riding the elevator, but they got rid of him shortly before we got there. There was also when we had Stackhouse, who, by the way, criminally underrated player. He was the one that brought us most of the way back, but that trade got us rip, and then we really put a whole team together.
True. What about you, Jacob?
I've been doing this. So this is why he changed it in the last 30 seconds, because I've been doing this. 0. First off, one of the things that Collins did do is, unlike Stan Albeck and Kevin Lockery, he actually gave the ball to Jordan. Guess what? Those other guys, they did give the ball to Jordan, but they tried keeping it away from him at times, trying to get a whole team effort, even though Jordan was scoring and doing all that stuff. Collins, it became all around Jordan. But here's the big thing. We are forgetting about everything. Absolutely none of the players, none. I mean, maybe Pippen, but none of the others come in with Collins.
Right.
None of them do.
That's how you know what? I'm leaning towards 1.
I'm going to Zippo because there is all of that right there. And then, he would have forced a trade if it would have seen that, which was a bit of the kind of the arrogance of Michael Jordan at that time, is because unlike the other two coaches, like I said, Lockery and Albeck, unlike those other two, Collins gave him the keys. This was Jordan's. I mean, Jordan got those 50 and 60-point games off Collins. See, when you think about Collins, those couple of years were actually really fun, especially when they were starting to build themselves, and especially when he's hugging his little son. He'd be hugging his little son after every win. That was fun to watch, but it took the master mindset of a Phil Jackson to say to him, "You need to move the ball around."
Phil was an assistant, right, on Collins' staff?
Yes.
Sure was. But I'm saying, it took him to say, "You need to move that ball around." It's like people will always say, and they're doing it just because they love their politics and they want to talk about how Popovich is better than Jackson, whatever. That's the politics crap talking. With LeBron over Jordan. Here's the thing.
Go ahead. I was going to say real quick, it's funny, and I'd forgot, he coached those 3 years in Chicago.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize he was out of coaching for 6 years. Then Detroit was his next job, and that's where he had his most success. After he left Detroit, he never was above 500 again.
Didn't he go to Philly after that?
Yeah, the end of his career.
Yes, he did.
Washington for 2 years. Then he took another 8 years off and went to Philly.
Look what happened.
I don't remember him in Philly.
I didn't.
Paul Westphal started 62-20, had couple of decent years at in Phoenix, and then he had some pretty. And then
he flamed out too
later. But
this
is the thing though. It's the thing that makes Jackson is the X's and O's. Remember, he had.
Did he freeze? Oh, he froze. Okay, I think he's got to disappear and come back. Well, Dom, I did want to throw something at you while we're waiting on Jacob to come back here. Is you said that your answer was 0. Okay, now also consider that Phil essentially was like, kind of the middleman, because it was Jordan that went to Krause and said, "Build me a team." You know what I mean? So he gets the same treatment. Consider he gets the same treatment if Doug Collins is the coach. Now also consider this. Wasn't Phil Jackson credited with inventing the triangle offense?
He was, I recall.
Yeah. So now considering that, do you still believe that Doug Collins wins 0 rings?
Yeah, because I just never really thought that Doug Collins was that good of a coach. And like I said, he experienced the bulk of his success in Chicago, and they still ran him out of town. He came to Detroit. He had 1.5 good seasons, and then he didn't even last the third one. And then, like I said, in Washington and Philly, he never got above the 500 mark. I was never really a Collins guy. Plus, he waited too long to give up that skullet, because even in Chicago in the early days, he was mostly bald on top, but he was rocking that skullet.
Yeah, that is true. Now, Will, same to you, and I know you because you were the only one on the panel that said that Doug Collins, that Jordan will win. You said 2 rings, right?
I said 1.
You said 1. Okay. Now, same question. Considering that Jordan went to Krause and said, "Build me a team," even if you replace Phil with Doug Collins, and then also in the other scenario, because Phil was credited with inventing the triangle offense. Do you have the same answer?
I actually don't.
Yeah.
I think he actually goes to 0.
I should be fine now. Here's the thing. The biggest thing about it is this is what made the Popovich is an all-time great. So I'm just saying this. I'm saying people are saying he's the best because it's politics and all this crap now. Recency bias. The thing that made Phil Jackson an all-time great is you are talking about getting in the head of the most uncoachable superstar you ever see in your life, and convincing him he needed
2 of them. 2 of them.
Yeah, and convincing him you need to play as a team, you need to move the ball, and we're going to get you the deal. That makes him the greatest ever, just on that aspect alone. Is the fact that he convinced Jordan to do that. It's like Collins wasn't going to do that. Collins gave him the keys, and he still asked him to get out of there. He still asked Collins to go.
Yeah.
Sometimes guys just clash, and I think. I mean, like I said, it was Mike that wanted to get rid of him, but he also realized he needed to be more of a team player, and it's one of those things where, like when you're trying to convince somebody to do something, you got to convince them that it was their idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even though it was Mike's idea, I don't think he wins 0 because he couldn't get that Bulls team, and I think even with a more talented, well-rounded team, they weren't going to get past the Pistons until they did, and they didn't do that with they weren't going to do that with Doug Collins. He didn't get us anywhere those couple years in the mid-90s.
That's true. But also consider in the East, and granted, yes, you did have the Pistons, but at the same time, the Celtics were getting old, and also out in the West, the Lakers were getting old too. Does Doug Collins get past an old Lakers or an old Celtics?
No.
Nope. No one but the Pistons was ending those two dynasties.
True.
Yeah, the thing about it also, you got to remember, let's look back also what the Pistons would have possibly been. You got to remember the Pistons got old because they got hurt.
I mean, Isaiah was done by the time he was, 32?
Yeah, it's like they were hurt. Think about this part. All of those players went to Chicago. You got to realize all of them right now. Chuck Daly probably stays a couple more years instead goes to New Jersey. He probably sticks. He probably has younger. He probably has all the younger players that went to Chicago probably go to somewhere like Detroit. They probably just rebuild by itself. The biggest, and remember this, is like all they're going to do, especially with Chuck Daly, is they're just going to build rebounders because this is what he was building in New Jersey anyway. Just a crazy amount of rebounders. But I'm saying that's Detroit would have just kept dominating because they would have just gotten younger without the Bulls doing that.
Yeah.
Well, this is a good time to transition into our next topic, our second what if. So I kind of figured like y'all might have some fun with this one because this one here will take a little bit of deep thought. So we know that Jason Kidd was drafted in the 1994 draft. He came out as a sophomore from the University of University of California at Berkeley. He was a Cal Golden Bear. But what if he played all 4 years? What if Jason Kidd played all 4 years at Cal and came out in the all-famed 96 draft? What draft number, what team do you think he goes to?
Lakers.
He's going to Lakers. You say Lakers?
He's going to Lakers with Kobe.
Wouldn't have lasted till then.
I don't think he would have lasted. I have him going.
You forget trade-ups.
Well, yes. Well, yeah, because Kobe was he got drafted by Charlotte. Sorry, Will. He got drafted by Charlotte, and then there was a
you're forgetting trade-ups. That could very much happen with Jason Kidd. Also, remember, look where he was at. That could just go be home.
It could. I mean, I had him falling number 4 because Stephon. And I'm looking at team needs here. And one, he wasn't going to be drafted above Iverson. Iverson was going number 1. Okay, but next on the list, I got Stephon Marbury out of Georgia Tech. I think he would go number 4 to Milwaukee.
Yeah, not bad.
So Milwaukee did trade that.
Milwaukee trade it? Yes, he traded it to Minnesota. He traded to Minnesota. He sure did.
Can I say something real quick? Jay, I've got the same answer as you. I can see Kidd going to number 4 to Milwaukee, but then it was traded to Minnesota. And instead of Marbury to take place of the 10-year vet, Terry Porter.
Wow.
And I can
Great
see him
observation on that one.
And guess who he would be playing with? Second year Kevin Garnett.
Yes.
And they would. I think that would be a fun team.
It would, because I mean, pretty much the 2000s, late 90s, away from the Bulls' last championship, that's when the West dominance really started. This was at the time period where the East was still the tougher conference. So you figure you're coming into an easy West. You know what I'm saying? You're coming into an easy West, and you got the team of KG and Jason Kidd.
You want to know also what's going to happen with that also? You know whose job gets saved by Jason Kidd going to Milwaukee? Dunleavy. Dunleavy was 34 and 48, and then 25 and 57.
But he would have been traded in minute. I still think that trade still goes to Minnesota.
We could say. I'm just saying hypothetically to say Milwaukee. I'm saying knowing how much worse it was starting to get from 3 years, he would have probably got one more chance with that player. That it might have saved his job to get that in the first place.
So, Tom, where do you have him going?
I was going to say 2 to Toronto, but they already had Damon Stoudemire. I think he goes. I think he goes 3 instead of his Cal teammate to Vancouver. Instead of Sharif Abdur-Rahim, I think Vancouver takes Jason Kidd. I think Jason Kidd hates that move, but I think he maybe legitimizes that team a lot sooner. The crazy thing is about, 95, 96. About 5 years later, that Vancouver, they became Memphis by then. That team on paper and on NBA Live 2003, I could not be beat. I ran that team 10 deep.
You were just using Big Country Reeves the whole time, weren't you?
Yeah, he was already gone.
Oh man,
no, but it was white chocolate. Michael Dickerson, but Live didn't know that he was on one leg. Paul Gasol was in the starting lineup. Starting center was like Lorenzen Wright. They had Mike Miller off the bench, Chris Whitney. Shane Battier was the starting 3.
Battier. Yep. Oh, and also to Will's observation, you know what? It's still between Milwaukee and Minnesota. I definitely see the Minnesota pick by Will, because the next guard selected after Marbury was Ray Allen. And Ray Allen was selected by Minnesota and traded to Milwaukee. So I think Kidd is either a Buck or a Timberwolf. I'm leaning more toward a Timberwolf.
The reason, like I said earlier, maybe is because of the pick, and it wouldn't have lasted that long. But considering, the only reason I brought up the Lakers was because of what they did with Kobe and from Charlotte. It's the fact I could absolutely see them trying to build a young team, putting Kidd on that, and doing a trade there. Because you got to realize they were just 5 years removed from their last NBA championship game. Their team, they're 5 years removed. They still had this thought process. I mean, Magic had gotten them to the playoffs in the last 19 games, like the number 8 seed. So they still thought they were in winning things. So I could see them doing all this.
What about this? Is there any way in hell he goes first over AI?
Hell no. That's why I said at the beginning there was no way he was getting drafted above AI.
No way. No.
I don't think so either.
But I will say this, and you know what? The reason being, Jason Kidd, a true distributor, but AI was a
undersized
one guard. He was a one guard masquerading as a 2. That's why he was drafted so high.
No. Also, Jason Kidd never had the same dog as
AI. No. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Didn't have a jumper until the last 5 years of his career either. That was Asen Kidd till he was about 34.
Yeah, no Jay.
Those Asen Kidd.
Yeah,
off topic but on topic. Remember after he pushed his wife down the stairs and then he started blowing a kiss at the backboard?
Yeah.
Also, I got a great what if for next time. What if there's no Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, Jimmy Jackson love rhombus with who was it?
The Mavericks.
Yeah, who was the chick? Tony Braxton? No,
I think it was Tony. We'll save it for next time. Tony. But you know what?
Tony Braxton, the Kim Kardashian of that time.
Yeah. I will say this much. I think that if he went to the Timberwolves, the Timberwolves. I mean, a 2-man punch between him and Kevin Garnett. I think they get out the West. They're not beating the Bulls. They're not even beating the Rockets. Yeah. But they do. I think they get out the West once, maybe twice.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, I felt this was a really deep one, a really good.
I liked it too. Yeah.
Just seeing where everyone kind of had them drafted. Everyone pretty much had them between 1 and 5.
5.
I mean, well, no, because not Toronto. They had Stoudemire, so you have Abdul Rahim. We pretty much had them between. Well, not 1 and 5. We had them between 2 and 5. Because again, AI was going number one regardless. Now should he slip a bit further down? I mean, you had Kerry Kittles going to New Jersey. He probably starts his career in New Jersey. If in the event they're like, we're gonna pass on him. But at worst, I don't think he goes past 8. I don't.
I agree.
I don't think he goes past 8. He's better than he better than Kittles, and Kittles was a fool. But he probably starts his career in New Jersey.
Yeah, I could see it. On to the next one, Jay.
Yeah. On to our next topic, or last one really. And that is our BasketBros retro game. So this isn't necessarily covering one game. I asked best NCAA basketball cover athlete and why. I'll start it off. I'll go real quick. My best one was NCAA March Madness 04, Carmelo Anthony, Syracuse. This dude, and everybody knows that year. I mean, arguably Jim Boeheim's best player. And I know he's been coaching a long, long time. I don't know if y'all agree or not. Arguably his best player, even though he was one and done. He won the title as a freshman, won a natty and everything. He was very deserving of the cover. But yeah, I've got him as the best NCAA basketball cover athlete. Will, who did you have?
Yeah, that was going to be mine, but this guy he was a journeyman in the NBA. He wasn't really anything. The cover that got me was the Raymond Felton 2006 one because I'm a Tar Heel fan.
North Carolina, yep.
I'm a Tar Heel fan, and it was the year after they won the title, and that team had Rashad McCants, Sean May, and him. And none of those guys did really anything in the pros, but it was really sentimental to me when I saw that was a cover because, ironically, the same year, the year before was 2005. I think it was the year I moved back from Europe to Charlotte, and we were staying at a hotel near a mall 20 minutes from my house currently. And I was watching the UNC Illinois championship game, and I think it was Darren Williams against like Rashad McCants.
Oh, D. Will, yeah.
D. Will with hair. And then it was against Rashad McCants, Raymond Felton, and Sean May. And it was when I came back from overseas, and I was watching that final, and that's what got me hooked on UNC. When I saw Raymond Felton was the cover the year after, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is like the leader of our team."
If I'm not mistaken, I think he was the second Tar Heel to make the cover. The first being Anton Jameson, and I think 90.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 96. But Dom, who'd you have?
I'm scrolling through all the ones I can find. I can get all the way back to like 98. I don't see the 99 one. Maybe they didn't make a game. I might just have to go with you by default and say Mello. The only other one that I could say that I'm even really okay with is 08 with the Durantula. I'm just seeing a bunch of terrible ones. Like 2001, Kenyon Martin.
Adam Morrison was one.
Yeah, Emeka Okafor in 05, then Felton.
Okafor had a good 1 or 2 years. He won Rookie of the
Year. And he won the Natty in 04, so that was justified.
And he won Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
Adam Morrison, that's probably the worst one.
The worst one's probably Adam Morrison. Because he had the shortest career out of all of them. He only played 6 years. But he did win 2 rings with the Lakers.
Yes, he did with his short hair.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. If you got mine, KD I was picking, and Adam Morrison looks like he's pre-crying getting ready for March Madness.
Oh, my gosh.
He always has a permanent, man, who's the dude that plays Spider-Man? Andrew Garfield. They both have this permanent cry face.
Well, that's the thing that got me with. I'm sorry, the whole Adam Morrison thing. I am forever going to mock him for let's see, crying before the game's over, then disappearing when the final shot was getting there, and forcing your center that never leaves the post to take the three.
Oh boy!
And it's like I'm always gonna. It's like I knew from there Adam Morrison was never because they were putting the whole Larry Bird thing on him.
I was just about to say that comparison lasted for about 5 minutes.
It been about 5 minutes, and then people knew that Larry Bird did not cry during a game when a thing was on the line.
The only similarities between the two of them was height, haircut, and sparse mustache. But Adam Morrison had the hockey mustache, 5 aside.
Yeah, He had the hockey mustache. Bird had the patrolman mustache. The state trooper mustache.
That was that blonde push broom.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. One step close to Hitler.
The old shoe brush.
Almost. Speaking of Hitler mustaches, remember when Jordan had one?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Jacob, talk about that one.
Oh, absolutely. That'll be next week.
Oh man, we are getting toward the end of the show. We're in the last 4 minutes, so I do want to thank everyone for tuning into this episode of BasketBros. It was a lot of fun discussing all different kinds of topics. We will have an all new lineup for you next week. Shout out to Steve Rademacher, one of Will's buddies, in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for everybody else for tuning in. And Will, let everybody know where you're going to be.
So you guys can find me Monday nights during the season on NBA Carousel. Thursday nights on the Sip-Off. Saturday nights, occasionally the Gauntlet, and then Sundays here.
All right. And Dom, where can we find you?
What is STW?
Finally, someone asks. Any guesses? What STW might be?
Swig that.
Transmitted Will. Will.
Wow.
Swig that whiskey.
I don't like whiskey. It's clearly Siberian Tiger Woods.
Oh, okay.
Come on, that's good.
Good.
You can find me during the season on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel, representing the Lions. On Megan Price's NBA Carousel, representing the Pistons. You can find me more often than not either on the show or lurking in the comments on Thursdays on the Sip-Off. You can find me on Saturdays, along with our man Denzel Snipes, James Tatum when he comes back, Joe Jenkins. That's Saturdays at 7 or 8 or whenever we do it, and here on Sundays. Also, a lot of Wednesdays and some Fridays, kneecap biting with Smoke and Jeremy B. That's our Lions show. And let me tell you about the Lions. I went to that practice on Saturday. If they can hold DJ Shark together with whatever, super glue and rubber bands, we've got a deep threat.
Not bad at all. I mean, are we talking what, seven wins this year?
Oh yeah, if we don't get 7 or 8, it was a failure.
I see 6, 7, but let me say real fast because I got a show to be on. I'll tell you guys real quick. Right, coming up, I'll be on the Couch Coaches. Basically for one show represent the Bears. Just right now, coming up.
Oh, me too.
Nights, yeah,
he's pre-recording that.
The Bears. Yeah. Monday nights during the season with Megan Price's NBA Carousel. Tuesday nights Confidential with $1,000,000,000% of the Sideline Sports. Thursday nights is my Pundits Pundit. I've a third of it, with the Pundits Pundit. Thank you, Jay, and then Jen, of course. And then Sundays here, and then working on other shows also. Plus, I'll be in a movie, The Quickening, with TJ Sanson.
Nice.
Awesome. All right. As y'all can see, we've all got things with both on and off the network. Of course, with me, Confidential, I produce it. That's on Tuesdays, hosted by JB Ellis. It's got a commentator cast of Jacob Christner, Jim Matthews Lewis, Steve Schwanda, and also our newcomer Tucker Hayes. Shout out to him. And also the Gauntlet, that's myself, JJ Dom, and James Tatum. I'm kind of taking the reins until James gets back. And then also, of course, here on BasketBros and on the Pundits Pundit as well. And for DJ Willie V and Siberian Tiger Woods and Jacob Christner, I'm Denzel Snipes, and this is BasketBros. Thanks, everyone, for watching. See you in 7 days.